Hi there, it's Jen from ModernMedicineLady.com and the Empathic Woman System, and the word of the day is certification. And I choose this word because after doing word of the day qualifications, I got a question from somebody basically saying, where do I find a good certifying program? And so while I can't necessarily speak to a specific certifying program, I can talk to you about what I have learned over the years and what I think is important when it comes to accreditation or certification, and what maybe you want to do and what maybe you don't want to do. So I will also say that the opinions expressed here are strictly that of the person who's giving them. Take what you like and leave the rest, and do what works for you. So the very first healing training that I did and certification that I received was in a program where the program was being run by two teachers, and you paid your money, you went and you did the weekends. There was a certain amount of reading that we had to do between classes, and there was some suggested homework. But aside from that, that was pretty much what was expected. Was you showed up for the weekends, you did the reading, and at the end of the 4 trainings that we did, or 6 trainings that we did, it's been a long time so I don't remember the exact number, we received a piece of paper at the end of the last weekend that basically said that we were certified transformational facilitators. So I could put CTF at the end of my name. Now the thing is that CTF don't mean shit. There is absolutely nothing in the world that is like, there's no governing body that is defining somebody as a certified transformational facilitator. This was something that the people who were running the program just decided to create, and basically decided to give people these pieces of paper saying that they had completed the classes and that they were qualified to call themselves these things. But in terms of any kind of legitimacy, that those initials and that training didn't really hold any water, because there was no set of standards that I had to follow through with, and there was no determination at the end as to whether or not I qualified for this certified transformational facilitator. I just did the class, got my piece of paper. Now, I will say that I got a great deal out of the training. It was a very, very powerful training. I learned an incredible amount from the training, and I will be forever grateful about everything that I got from the training. And so I want to make a very clear distinction, which is that trainings and certifications are two completely separate things. And there can be very valuable trainings that you can do that do not have certification, or offer a certification that may or may not have much weight or value in terms of your credentials. Now, conversely, many years later, when I fell in love with EFT, I knew I wanted to be certified as an EFT practitioner. And I knew that I wanted to work within a system that had a lot of standards and created basically a governing body. So when I started looking into training as an EFT practitioner, I found that there was an organization called AAMET, A-A-M-E-T, which is an international organization that is focused on people who are EFT practitioners and teaching and training with a very set of specific standards. And having a set of requirements in order to become accredited. So not only is there a period of time and a whole bunch of stuff that happens to be trained, then after the training, there is a set of requirements that are necessary to accomplish in order to claim certification and receive certification. And so in that case, for me, I've already achieved 2 levels, and in both of these levels, the level 1 and 2 EFT practitioner, I had to do 50 clinical sessions, I had to write 4 case studies, I needed to do ongoing mentorship while I was getting certified, and then in addition to that, I needed to do additional continuing education, 30 hours every single year, and 6 hours of supervision annually as well. And then I had to go through the same process when I went for my advanced level, so that it was another series of 50 clinical sessions and an additional 4 case studies, additional mentoring, as well as my continuing education of 30 hours a year and the mentoring. And in order to maintain my accreditation through this organization, I need to do 30 hours of continuing education and ongoing mentoring and supervision so that I am being held accountable. And the thing is, I know I earned that accreditation, I earned that certification, and I had to work to get there, and I had to do things to prove that I actually knew what I was doing. Not only was this a program that has a series of very clear standards, but it is an organization that is much bigger than 2 teachers. It's an organization that has a board of directors, it has a set of rules, it has a mission statement, it has bylaws, it has a whole bunch of criteria that everybody within the organization are agreeing to, and it means that there's a certain set of standards that are adhered to whether you're in India or in America. And to me, that makes that certification and that accreditation so much more valuable than the certification that I received as a CTF back when I was in my 30s and, and just sort of really starting to deepen my craft as a healer. So what I think you want to be looking for and asking about when it comes to a certification is, number 1, is this a program being taught by one specific person who has a modality or a system that they have developed that they're training, and so they're certifying you as saying you know how to do this? Or is this something that is has a much broader base, and there's a lot of people who are teaching the same thing, and there's a set of rules and standards expected of how it's going to be taught by these multiple people? Now, if in either case, if there's somebody who's a brilliant healer and you want to learn from them, that's fantastic. And I just would say the thing you want to be sure about is, what kind of credentials do they have? What kind of level of experience do they have? How long have they been doing this? Are they really seasoned? Have they been doing this work for more than 10 years? Or are they somebody who started to figure it out 5 or 6 years ago? And how did they determine your qualifications to be certified? Whether it is an individual who's teaching it or it is a large organization, are there standards that you are going to have to prove in order to go beyond just having taken the class to being identified as certified or accredited? That's really important, is like, what do they expect of you? And if you come to something where they say, yeah, just, pay us this money, take this online correspondence course, take this little, multiple choice quiz, and you're going to be accredited or certified, I would tell you, yeah, maybe there's some benefit to the class, but in terms of the value of that certification, it doesn't really hold a hell of a lot of water. And if you really want accreditation and certification as a way to say, yes, I take this really seriously, then I think it's really important to look for accreditation and certification that actually has standards that you have to work for. So that's really, the foundation of all of this is looking for whether or not there's standards, whether or not there's a governing body, whether there's accountability, and what you have to do in order to be worthy of receiving the certification, and what is expected of you to maintain it. Because just because you did it 10 years ago, if you haven't continued to do continuing education and supervision, that really, I would say that a good organization is going to require ongoing continuing education. So I don't really have a question for you right now, because this particular word of the day was much more about sharing my experience and my perspective about what it is you want to be looking for when it comes to a training, and especially when it comes to a certification. And If you have any thoughts or ideas or experiences about your own process in getting certified or not getting certified, or just any kind of experience you've had around trainings as a healer, please leave a comment below. Let me know what it's been about for you and what you think of what I'm saying and whether this resonates for you. So, until next word of the day, I'm wishing you peace and ease. And if you are looking to get certified, that you find a really good program or system that works well for you. And in the meantime, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jennifer Moore, Modern Medicine Lady. And also, I would be ever so grateful for you to pass this video along to other people who would find it useful. So thank you so much for helping me to get the word out, liking this, sharing this, and just spreading the word. So thanks so much, and until tomorrow, peace.